Hi guys, it's me Dan Mohan, and coming at you. Well, I'm not completely live, but I'm coming at you pretty raw. This is my home, but right now I'm going to basically show you through these pictures that I've got posted up already. Um, what's going on really? And that there is a 2020 agenda. Let me take care of something real quick if you don't mind. All right, there we go. Can't have no beeping going on while I'm messing around. Anyway, so what we're going to basically talk about is a 2020 in-game final agenda, and this is how false constructs like Google and such, Facebook and banks, Amazon, the news, the main media, and Hollywood, and all of these big conglomerates, uh, conglomerates. I can't even say the word right in my mouth. So anyway, you know what I'm saying. These big corporations, companies, whatever you want to call them, are being used very much so, and to help manipulate things, mankind, to manipulate the reality around us, very much so, and to where it's going to be fooling us a lot. And a lot of people, sad to say, won't be ready for this big switch. Some people will just basically flip out. They won't know what to do when they're faced with, oh, you got to keep going if you want these luxuries still, and you want the convenience of food and this and that and home and housing and protection and such, you're going to do this. And that's where the RDF chip comes in, and that's going to be by the October 2020 of next year. And this is there's already been some retirees from the CIA that have openly come out and told us, hey, this is the way it's going to be, people, and be prepared for it. So I would heed their warning, at all costs, because it's very important. I can't remember the guy's name exactly, but he's all over the YouTube. There's videos of it where he actually retired from the CIA or quit. I'm not quite sure how he went about it, but he did not feel right with what he was doing, which was making a chip, an RDF chip, and he did not know it at first. Did not know what he was doing, but as things went along, he saw this. Oh my goodness, this is what the Book of Revelation talks about very clearly as probably the mark of the beast. And I would like to say that I'm pretty daggone sure that it's the mark of the beast, and that we should be aware of these things. So we're talking about how this is going to lead us into the Great Tribulation. This is going to be the start of the Great Tribulation, what brings everything about. And it's the Luciferian order, Luciferian agenda, and it's under a Luciferian beast system. Most people are unaware that www, the numerical value, is actually 666. And if they actually thought about it, they'd probably watch how they use computers anyway. Now, I'm not saying that that it's wrong and that you're going to hell for using the computer. No, of course not. Of course not. But if you let it take over, or if you let, when it comes down to your guns of, okay, it's either this, and then you have to get a chip in order to use the computer again, then guess what? You're going to have to give up the computer for good. This can be used. Everything on this earth, even things that Satan's already manipulated, can be used to bring about good if it's done under a good hand, under a godly hand. As long as it hasn't been corrupted to the point where it by itself is considered sin. It's what you do with things usually that provide that extra sin. So let's go ahead and let's talk about some of these photos that I really want to go into. Stuff that proves, first of all, that we're not living in a system at all to where we can just go flying out in space and we can leave the Earth's orbit. We cannot do that. That is impossible. People need to understand that it's horribly leading people astray. Just that alone. They pushed the heliocentric model, which is basically the Earth being a sphere, and rotating and revolving around the sun and in its orbit around it, and that the sun and all these other the stars are suns, little suns themselves, or big suns, or however big they are, and that they also likewise orbit larger masses. So, and that's where we go into some more bull that mankind is basically throwing at us, based on some gravity issues. And let's just say that gravity is not even a patented word, which is very, very, very sketchy right there, because all of our most used words are patented at some time or another. But gravity is a kind of a made-up word. It's not kind of, it is a made-up word. And that basically this is, we're, I don't want to say so far as, oh, we're living in the matrix. And no, what we're doing, we're living a very real life. But are the things that you're doing, are the things that you're learning from real? That's the thing. And that's the reason why I've been kind of stuck in my head that this is more of a time right now to be real than ever. In a time of unrealness. In a time of unrealness, there's never a better time than to be real. And that's right now. So, anyway, let's go ahead and look at some of this. Like this, I have a really nice Canon. It's an awesome camera that I've had the privilege of taking awesome photos, beautiful photos. But all the photos that I'm going to show you that come from it, that I'm trying to make a point with anyway, none of them have been altered, have been edited in any way, shape, or form. And I can if it was all right under my belief in the Lord Jesus Christ and Yeshua, and because that's his true Jewish name, and the Son of God, Yahweh, and which is basically Jesus is another function of God. There's the three functions: the Holy Ghost, Father, Son, Holy Ghost, and they all derive as different functions, but when you combine them, they are God. And that's the reason why it says that God is Jesus. Jesus is God, and the Word was with God, and Jesus is the Word. And I want to even talk about how even some of the very texts that we believe cannot have been altered or manipulated or touched, or no, that's the one book I know can't be, because there's so much truth that you will find in it, because you will. I'm going to talk to you about how even the Bible does not stay safe in man's hands. First of all, it's kind of, not kind of, but it's messed up to even put holy on it when it's been tampered with, when it's been addition, stuff like that, translation, version, that tells you right there. It's been edited. And the council, I can't even say that, Neodicee or something like that. Back in Odyssey, yeah. Back in the early Dark Ages and the church reform, basically, of the Roman Catholic Church, that is when they decided what books to leave out and what books to include, what little changes they would make, like the Book of Adam and Eve, where the true occupations of Abel, his occupation was to be a cultivator, to be a farmer, but they've got it backwards. And that Cain was the actual sheep herder in reality. But the Bibles that we're used to reading, the King James Version being about the best form you're going to get that they have messed with anyway, and have put out there in mass production, it says the exact opposite. Now, why would they do that? Well, for one, it throws off the whole gist of the story. It kind of validates sacrifice to some degree, which, I pray tell you, why would it later on contradict when in Isaiah when God says, I spit on your sacrifices, I don't want your offering. You can't give me something that I made. You can't give me something that I gave you. I made this. What are you doing? And this does not take care of that sin you just did over there. Or killing that animal and taking its life needlessly. That doesn't make sense. I've always wondered that when I was younger, until I read the Book of Adam. I was like, no. Just because it has a warning at the end of it doesn't mean it has not been done. How many times does he tell us not to steal, cheat, murder? But it's done every second of the day. So people, don't be foolish and naive. Mankind, lie. God tells you to only believe in him. That's why Christ is the Word, the truth. You talk to him, he'll show you how to sort through the bowl and pull out. And I would like to say at least 90% of the Bible is true. But I like to also say that about 70% of it was left out. But the Book of Enoch being the prime example. Everybody's talking about it. Book of Enoch. I was big into it. Now, I've been doing this research and all this stuff for quite a while, a lot longer than most people probably, ever since 2006. And ever since 9/11, I started getting really weary because that day I knew something. I knew that was a hoax. I didn't know how it was exactly how they did it or anything, but it just was, no, it did not make sense. 2 towers falling like that. And then a third one barely had any fire to it. That said to me, cover up. People, don't ignore your conscience. Don't ignore your heart. Don't ignore your spirit. Because if you do, you're going to regret it. And living in this false reality that they're trying to make you go, oh, this is the way it is, and this, if you don't do it, then you're going to be weird, and you're going to be, oh, you're going to be a conspiracy theorist, and people, remember who you're trying to impress? You want to impress the big man, don't you? I do. Well, I get it. You're not going to do that because you don't see him right there in front of you. But you can't see. If you saw him right now, your eyes would explode. That's how pure he is. In fact, all these ancient texts go on and on and on about how even the angels can't even get close to him. Not too close anyway. And the ones have to be so, this powerful angels themselves to get as close as they are. He is that perfect. That says a lot, people. A lot. And people say, well, how can a perfect God be? He didn't create evil. He created beings that chose evil. He created will. That's the thing. That's the catchy thing about will. It gives you the option of, well, are you going to do the right thing and continue to do this, or are you going to go and screw it all up? Because what does sin do? It destroys. It kills. It's death. Anyway, I'm rambling, people, so please excuse me. Remember, I'm going to start with this picture here. Now, what does that sun tell you? It looks like it's almost sitting on top of a pillow, doesn't it? Like those clouds are just blanketing it. And then behind it, you see more clouds. Vast plains of clouds. For one, obviously, the sun is not that far away. Number two, it's a heck of a lot smaller than what they said it was. In fact, it's small in comparison to the earth. It is our timepiece. Remember how God talks about that? Well, we use it for signs and days of the moon and that. That's what he meant. Very much so that he was going to use it as an actual clock piece, just like and it goes in the same direction as a clock. That's where we base that. We base a lot of our world, you'll find, bases a lot of things after other things. I mean, after what the world does. The engine works of it. The motor works. So, here's a better shot. Let me just get my big head a little bit bigger. Not bigger, but, How about down there? That's better, ain't it? Okay. Anyway, so we see there, right up there above there, beautiful. So people, that's the example that I use a lot of times. This is a very rare shot. I showed it to a news dude that was almost acted like he wanted to buy it, but I was like, well, it's not really for sale. It's for show mostly. And I don't want people trying to make money off of it. So I just went out to the shower earlier. It just got hot again. Anyway, you needed to know that. But anyway, see this here? He said it was a very good perspective of it. I said, well, wasn't really going for that, but I thought, yeah, he's right, man, So this picture would be great to use for a lot of show, so you people have permission. Anybody watching this video, you don't have to get permission, blah, blah, blah. I don't care if you made $1 billion off of it. It's another thing. When we talk about the words of the Lord Christ, Jesus Christ, and his actual name is Yeshua in Hebrew, and I like to use it mostly because I have to say Jesus because it tells people who we're talking about. And remember, people, it doesn't matter exactly what name you want to call him as long as you know what guy it is. It's the same guy that we're talking about. It's the one that died on the cross, came down and did all this amazing stuff, came and said some of the most remarkable things ever. Not some, he did. He said the most remarkable things ever. Things that just floored everybody. Have you ever thought about that? How does one guy come up with that many sayings and be so awesome about it and be right about it 100% and to the T and to the point? Only God could do that, people. So here we go. Another little shot of that. But we're talking about that. Let's talk about what the world's doing around you. We're sitting here watching cartoons all the time, thinking, oh, that's no big deal. It's innocent, blah, blah, blah. How innocent is it when they're flashing Illuminati symbols on TV off of this show all the time? Matt Groening, he knows something. I'm telling you that much right now. But right here, see what this formula is? This formula was invented by Homer Simpson. This is an actual formula. people. An actual formula that they're going on and on about still to this day. It's the formula for the God particle. 13 years before they announced that they finally found it. Or they finally figured it out. Now tell me, if this is not predictive programming. That right there is your evidence. All right, how about when we're talking about the UN using this? This same map, same setup as their actual map. It has a wreath around it. It's the only difference, and I'll show that to you in a second. But this is the actual, what the airliners, the airports use, and Air Force and stuff like this, is a radar map like this. And this is, see around there, you see around the edges, that's Antarctica. Antarctica is not just south in one little landmass. It goes all around us. Yes, people, we live on a flat earth. It's just proven. I mean, people, glass of water, explain that. Anytime of water does not go in a curve, does it? So there's no way it could do that. And then we go, well, gravity was pointed out. Oh, okay. So this gravity that you're talking about, it's so tough as to pull. It's able to pull me down, but it can't keep air down. Duh, that don't make much sense. Or a balloon with helium. I thought you were talking about gravity. No, people, that's all about elements, attraction, the law of attraction, relativity, stuff like that. The law of relativity. That's the reason why Einstein was so big on that more than anything. You didn't hear him going on about gravity. Oh, he thought of all that stuff, but he couldn't think of gravity? Sir, Newton, sir, that's another tip. Illuminati. So we got to be aware of those people, man. They're Luciferians, and they're with the Freemasons. Some of them are knowingly doing it, and some of them don't know what's going on. You can see some of the 33s don't even know. It's like they have a special level of the 33 before you get to find out what the Illuminati is even up to half the time. But this is all a shadow government, people. Started from a long time ago in Samaria, restarted actually after the antediluvian era, the Great Flood. The Sumerians, yes, called Enki in the World Order. Now I'm going to tell you a little thing about Enki. He is a fallen angel, Azazel. 200 seraphim took some information, or took the advice of Satan after he had 4 other chiefs with him get kicked out of heaven for leading a rebellion. Well, they all got kicked out regardless. A third got kicked out. Well, some of the lower class, the seraphim angels, below the cherubim, which cherubim are just right below archangels. Archangels, of course, are the highest class of angels, and they're the most powerful of all the created entities that God made. Then you know, principalities and the thrones and such. But anyway, Yakun, that's the Hebrew name for Satan. He has Gadriel, Tricky, even the garden. That's his best buddy. He's another cherubim. So a lot of people don't understand in possession of the actual serpent. And that's the reason why he represents, the serpent represents the devil now, is because that's what he used his first time in order to commit sin with mankind. Let's turn my mouth down. So, first of all, yeah, so he led these 200 seraphim angels, Enki being Azazel. The Book of Enoch talks about it. Now I'm going to tell you, the Book of Enoch is about as divine scripture as you can get, in my opinion. I'll dare say it. A lot of people won't say it. I will. I've read it over and over and over again, and I think it is just, especially the Ethiopic version, that's translated straight out of Ethiopic. That I think is about the best, because it was the most pure, because it went back to the pre-Phoenician. These other ones have been side branched way too much. All these other, like if you got one from Italy, it would have been out of Aramaic before it got out of Ethiopia. Before it had been just retranslated. So I find that the Ethiopic is about the purest you'll find. And and people say, "Well, it's not scripture. It says it." Enoch says so, and God says so. You don't take their word for it, but you'll take some council of literacy and they secretly worship the devil behind closed doors. You're going to take their word for it, of what's scripture and what isn't. Come on, they're trying to trick you, people. And of course, the most rich people, it's always been history, will eventually become corrupt. That's who takes charge, and they will always be in charge until, that's the reason why we need Jesus so much. It takes him to purify us. And that's the reason why God hated sacrifice so much. That's the reason why I know that the Cain and Abel story was switched around like that, and because he sent his son to prove to us that how foolish it was for his sacrifice, and he wanted it to stop. He wanted it to cease. No more excuses, people. And he did it, and he died for us, and he did it while not committing a sin. And that's pretty awesome. I don't think none of us can say we've done 10%, 5% even of what God has done. Jesus in his 33 years at that. So, yeah. So we see these maps that we're talking about. See, Azazel, he corrupted the whole earth, man. And so this plan was a dark plan from the very beginning. We've had maps like this. We knew the earth was flat all the way until 500 years ago. And it is now for the past 500, because we have CGI. Because we have rocket thrusters. See, the devil's been at work the whole time. Trying to, do it, very precise in planning. This is not the proper time when to release that, so I'll wait to do that. Well, sometimes this plan gets screwed up, so it puts them offset. And I think the New World Order really believes they thought they'd get things along a lot better by now. This is the North Pole. This is where we talk about the gravity, or not the gravity, but the actual elements of the Earth and being in a combination with, when we talk about the firmament dome, which in the book of Genesis, it tells you clearly that God created the firmament domes to separate the waters above from the waters below. And so that's the reason why the sky is blue. It makes total sense now, doesn't it? When we're little kids, we're like, why is the sky blue? Or there's your answer, because there's water up over it. It's all around us. You cannot leave Earth's orbit. If you look up NASA scientists, they admittedly say it. We've never even left Earth's orbit. So how can we have gone to the moon? What is all this crap about the moon? And they keep going on and on about it. And SpaceX is even doing people thinking, I've seen some stuff earlier about that. These people are going to end up paying everything for all this stuff, and then find out, and then be taken out someplace, probably killed off, and then they'll tell everybody around them, yeah, they had a great time, and they're up there, and we'll be able to get a feed on I'm here soon. And then what feed they did have was probably pre-recorded, and they're just like, hey, we're having a great time here, we can't wait. And then they edit that somehow or another. But anyway, so we see this, and I had it going to where this is actual photos off of Boeing 747 over the North Pole. So you see there's a vortex there. Now, in combination with the portals and the firmament, not the portals exactly, but they're like vents. They're like the windows of heaven, is exactly what the Bible says. This, and where the wind comes into effect and everything else, and water and the dews that God, all this combination is a filtering system for the earth, creating also through the chemicals of the earth electromagnetism. Have you ever noticed a Big Dipper? The North Star never moved. So if we were doing what they were saying in a heliocentric fashion, it would move eventually, and these constellations would change over time, even in the slightest, but they don't. That proves we are on a geocentricity, people. Is what we're trying to do. Learn. Now, how are they going to pull this perfect little scam off? See, the Nazi symbol is even made to providing that it was made to basically show what the earth does. Crap. That just made it worse. Yeah. Anyway, so it's made to show what the earth does and everything. But, the geocentricity is what we're trying to get to. And I want you to know how these places, these big corporations, Google, Facebook, and the banks, and Amazon, eBay, YouTube, the news, the main media, Hollywood, stars, and actors who are puppets also, are all used in combination to pull the biggest hoax ever on you. And it's working so far. And they're even having people, like with superhero movies, all this Marvel comics, and said, well, yeah, Marvel, remember what Christ told you to do? Marvel not. For even Lucifer has the ability, as an angel of light, to appear as an angel of light, has the ability to do that. Disguise, tricks, all just magic, stuff you see on America's Got Talent or something. And it's done with the aid also of demons. That's how some of it appears so real. It's so magical because you don't see that there's an invisible spirit actually doing this stuff. Explains everything, don't it, people? These demons, they are the children of the fallen angels and the Nephilim. They are the Nephilim, I mean. And Nephilim actually means Nephilos. It's derived out of that word, which means like clouds. For God had told him in the book of Enoch, as evil spirits you are, and evil spirits you will remain. So a lot of people want to say, oh, Nephilim means giants. Blah, blah, blah. But no, it doesn't. I mean, it includes those giants, yes. But any hybrids, anything made out of the unholy, unnatural, abominational, or whatever, whatever you get out of mixing a fallen angel with mankind. Because that was never meant to be. How could it be meant to be? Especially if these angels who had left their heavenly estate, their first estate, and then became evil. If they became evil and then mixed with man, how would you expect anything good to ever come out of that? I would hope that you were not that naive. So, just quickly, I'm going to, show you that, this kind of illustrates a little bit how the motor of the earth works. And you get this vortex, and it's pushing energy out, and it's going up through the windows, and it's going in and out, and all around, and it's like a filtering system, the great abyss. Now, people want to get that confused too. Now, remember, Azazel, he was punished. Well, I don't know if you remember it or not, but you will find that in the book of Enoch. He was punished, and already sent to the bottomless pit. And I believe that the Great Pyramid is a capstone for that, actually. And that there's pyramids in Antarctica that match perfectly. In the same formation. See how I have a rock like that myself. I would like to show it to you. I'd have to get up and go grab it. But this is a piece of sky, permanent. It's where they keep trying to bust the dome. Why? So they can release the demons back in. And this beast system is going to be used to do it. And people are becoming part of this. And this Antichrist is going to be the beast that is and wasn't. So he's going to be a soulless type of beast. It's a soulless beast system that's going to really take you down, the Antichrist system, which is the computer, the WWW, the AI, the Elon Musk likes to talk about it a lot. This is a pretty good model right here of what the Earth is. It's supposed to be like with the sky and the stars. They need to be, people, you need to be educated about those. Those aren't not what you think they are either. I have this Canon thing. It's got 1140 times zoom. Can you believe that? Yes, it does. I've got more pictures to show you on that. It shows you how these stars are actually spirits, these demonic beings. Some of the, now up there, now you got to remember that you got your angels. They're named pagan gods, right? Well, that's because they are pagan gods. And planets, the word was derived out of plane. That's flat, people. First of all. So planets are not spherical at all. All that energy you see up there, well, how do I see that light then? I know I can see it. Well, but it's called bioluminescence, or in the spiritual case, I guess, aeroluminescence, or astral. Yeah, I guess that would be all right. Astral luminescence. And that's spirit energy. We've proven that soul already exists. They did that. The government even paid for it, and then they shut it down when they found out it did exist. They're like, oh no, we can't use this. We can't let people see this evidence, where they had done the right precautions about, getting rid of fluids and taking everything into consideration, and weighed the body after death, and then found out that it was missing something, missing some weight. I think they said it was like 0.7 of an ounce, something like that. It's soul weighed. 0.7 of a gram or something like that. It's probably a gram. Anyway, we talk about satellites. A lot of people think that there's satellites that are actually big ones up there in space that's really are. No. Why do you think we have cell towers, people? It doesn't make sense. That contradicts everything. We wouldn't have both. We wouldn't need both. And on these towers, they will bounce off the firmament dome. It bounces off that glass. Boom, boom, boom. That's how it's able to go long distances. And just like radio lines. And before they knew how to do all that and bounce it and stuff, and then they were shooting it to one thing after another, they'd proven the Earth flat back to that again by just simple radio lines. You have to, radio lines travel in straight paths, flat path. So it's impossible for the Earth to be round, because then it wouldn't go around the curve. You couldn't go around the curve to get to the Japan, and they already proven that they can send a message long back over 2,000 miles easily. So you have to have a flat plane for that. Some more illustrations of that, of the Earth dome and everything, and the tree of life being the North Pole, and that paradise was once, above the North Pole, is actually ascended and in another dimension. We're talking about dimensional things that will happen. So anyway, people, somebody is happening to call me for some reason. Hopefully mistake. Sorry about that. We find out CIA is into some dirty stuff. Of course, declassified material, talking about how they're going to come out with saying that, oh, well, it was always a plan from thousands of years back. We've been carrying out this plan for a while about God, and this Adam thing, and we knew that it was the only way to get people to get them to do things. We knew they wouldn't do anything any other way. So, hang on here. So, basically, ouch. I'm going to turn on the light because my battery went dead. I thought that would be too much light, so that's why I left it off. Anyway, there we go. That's better. We see that, I can't remember exactly. Yeah, CIA says that they're going to do this and come out and say, oh, no, well, it's just a way of getting you all to do this. But really, it was representations for natural things of the earth, and how that people are the important part, and that we can be like gods. And I'm sad to say, people, we can never be like God unless He and we can try to be like Him. We can become better, and we can become righteous, and that's only through Him, through His Son Yeshua, Jesus. Okay, so beware of that, people. I mean, this is really some scary stuff. But how they talk about Noah and like Adam and Eve, and this too will come to pass. And this is just a reoccurring another event to get us ready for this ultimate age of where we can be like gods and such. But I am being interrupted, so I will have to get off of here and talk to you soon. We're getting more into about the genetics and everything, about what's going on with that, how they're manipulating everything, and there's been pyramids and civilizations from antiquity, and this plan of the Illuminati, this stone capstone here being an image of it, saying basically the sun will come. It's a reminder to them, and I don't think that was supposed to be written on there, but it was. So this stuff has been around for thousands of years, and we have this on our dollar bill now, so we know that this is very much Illuminati agenda. So, how is this possible? And it's just not. So, we see that, here's a good one. It shows you that God's above, and the waters above the firmament, the sky, and the doors of heaven and the earth. And I want you to know you cannot fall off any edge, because you have the ice wall that goes completely around, which is Antarctica. It goes completely around, people. So, I mean, the flat earth is surrounded by the Antarctic ice wall, which is over 80 feet. So tell me how you're going to, really fall off anything. And it goes clear up to the dome, supposedly. So the truth is self-evident, people. I mean, here we have, here's the flat plane, or flat picture. That's without the bending lens that they love to use all the time. This is a natural picture, or actual photo, showing you how even the dome reflects. The skies, the stars in the sky at night in some places reflect what the dome actually is being. This is the older map that we used to use at the turn of the century, and they did away with that and updated it to that one I showed you at the very beginning. But it even shows you with some respect that the four angels of the corners of the earth. So this is probably a good rendition of it also. This was another picture I had taken of the sun, and I believe that was a sunrise. See how the clouds just kind of lip around it a little bit and kind of whisk around. There's clouds clearly behind it, people. That tells you, man. I mean, come on. And how's it going to happen twice in a row like that, right at the perfect timing of when the sky was clear enough? They're trying to mask the sky right now to where you can't see a lot of things that go on. Also, will you notice when we hit the rocket up against the firmament dome, we had quite a reaction, and it looked like something hit water. So that just proves that what I was trying to tell you on that. And just watch out for all this CGI and all this crap all these tricks, these illusions, like this picture here. I easily did that in seconds. You can see the two UFOs in it, right? Tell me you can. Right there's one, and right there's one. Yeah, right there in the middle. Yeah, and now, yeah, tell me. It's too easy now. And it's just like conveniently things are so much easier now. Even make with this. If I wanted to do a video like this before, it would take me hours just to get everything to work in combination. Now you just can conveniently do this. Like see those two little aliens behind me one night. These are demons, people. They're called avatar bodies. Notice they have no genitalia. Now, if the Egyptians believe in the firmament dome, yeah, using the map, same way we do. Don't listen to this demonic influence coming late at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's their hour usually. But they're all around us, people. They are the children of the fallen angels, and they are allowed to go about. They're not in hell yet, like their parents, the 200 seraphim. And the cherubim, like Satan and his top bodies, because they did not have direct contact with man, actually having sex with them and making kids and stuff, and procreation. They got their sentence kind of put off, suspended for a while, but they're going to, the way I look at it is God's just basically using them as a tool, and he says, hey, you want to go to prison, and be destroyed after your punishment for so long, or would you rather blah, 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 and let me just use what you did and just weed out the harvest? Because this is at least the second harvest that we're talking about. We had the first harvest with Adam and Eve, and then now, after Christ died, this is the second harvest. So this is a good way of separating all the bull from the bull. I mean, who wants to wait another 10,000 years to find out you have a spoiled son? Spoiled kids. It's like God, God knew what was going to happen, so this had to happen, obviously, and God knew that. But I'm sure, God wasn't happy with, like, after so many thousands of years or whatever time it took, that Satan's like, hey, you made me so powerful and stuff. Hey, I'm going to try to take over now. Yeah. This was a picture I had taken with what you would call a UFO. We find that these things defy physics. This is actually one I took. And defy physics. They're just things that tell you they cannot be a physical thing, a physical nature. So, as much as we think they are, they're not. They are used in part of the plan of the deception. This was the map I was wanting to show you, and then I'm going to be quiet and let you go. Oops, stop that. Somehow it screwed up on me. Anyway, and I was going to say, can't you look at this? You can see where they're identical. They're basing it completely off of that. So I mean, it's crazy to think that they're not. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, so yeah, here's more. These are actual other people's photos, but these are real photos, not CGI or anything like that. And I challenge anybody to take my photos apart and try to, because you'll find that nope, they're very much authentic, and there's no way you can do it, and they're obviously authentic. CGI, if you start getting good at looking at photos, you can tell what's bull, what is crap, and what ain't. But it's getting harder. It is. They're getting it really down pat now. They are. So here, there's plenty of proof telling you that we are in a geocentric system. Remember, NASA is the definition means deception in Hebrew. A lot of people don't know that. Notice the serpent tongue. Everything's right there in front of us, people. It's plain sight. People are the same pyramids I was trying to tell you about, the same lineup as the lineup of the Orion constellation, just like in Egypt. A lot of people don't talk about this in America. So there was an antediluvian age of, the National Space Federation, which Trump runs. He's, are pushing off again. This is in Antarctica also. I had went to a certain elevation and got lucky, I guess, because they only do it at this perfect elevation, and then you get the pitch. You get this picture. This was supposed to be hidden, because if you any other elevation or altitude or whatever, uh, uh, no, it's all snow over it. You know, it's just all big old fields of snow, and there's nothing else there. But if you get the right elevation here, you will see uh, this right here. And this is something I like to keep secret. This is a disc that I used to own. It has the Vinca culture on it. It's a very amazing disc. And I will go into detail about this and some ancient cultures here soon on the next video. You will find these half lizard, half man people from pre-Ubadia, pre-flood times were very super high tech. This is something I took and had eventually destroyed. So remember what I said, people, about this geocentric points of everything. And this is all a scam that they're trying to do with in Hollywood and the government and bankers and everybody else in Google and Facebook. All part of the plan and incorporating you into this beast system. So beware, because you will be faced with that decision with RDF chip by next year in 2020 of October. This is Dan Mollahan from the Bow to Yeshua channel. Hope you have a great day, and I pray that you find the Lord Jesus Christ, and that you accept Him, because He's calling to you, and He's chosen you ahead of time to even come to you, because He knows whether if you're worth messing with or not. Because if you're a despiser of good, ultimately, anyway, He's not even going to bother. Why would it? Because you're not going to do the right thing no matter what. Yeah, it's true. God knows what you're going to do, so it makes sense that He's going to attempt to really kind of, hey, I know that you respect good and good, so I'm going to show myself to you. So don't pass it up. The longer you wait, the more damage is done to the people around you. Because we want to conserve as much goodness as we can, people. And ultimately, it will work itself out. I just want you to choose the right thing and not fall for these lies and deceptions. And a lot of these things are going to be hard to give up. You think I'm happy and proud to go around telling people that I know the earth is flat? No. It gets people mad at me. It gets people to hate me. It's the most unpopular thing to say. But it's the right thing to do. And as far as what God is concerned, I cherish Him more than anything. And to heck with everybody else is really, when it comes down to all that, is what I say. You know, Jesus comes first in this matter. So, God bless y'all. You have a great day. And try to stay cool. It's been pretty hot this summer. Take care. Bye-bye.